Yeah, I mean, all of that $3 billion could certainly go to the poorest urban neighborhoods, the falling, decaying schools that we have, the lack of resources, the poor and working poor programs that will be dismantled through this horrible, disgusting debate and performance of our congressional leaders. There is no doubt that that money could be spent to rebuilding our own infrastructure, to providing the kind of elderly care that our seniors need, to creating the kind of forward-thinking infrastructure that we need to stay a 21st century country. That's a place where everybody ought to be concerned that that money is going to continue to harm, to continue to maim, to create, infrastructures that further harass, oppress our people.
And then I might add that Michael, on the end, works within the prison system, and he's a therapist. And we have a huge problem with recidivism and returning citizens right here in our wonderful city. And I am certain that more funding could be used to help to bring those folks back to an environment with some kind of opportunity for employment, for some opportunity, some incentives to help with employment. So there are ways. I am a pastor of the church, and I know that we could use some of the money to help out in community affairs, to build, as you said, the infrastructure of our own communities. Well, it's just unbelievable that we spend that much money that goes out, and not just going out for Israel, but for defense fund. And so that's unimaginable when some of our young people can't read, and then we'll face it with administration that are wrestling now with, should we give Social Security to our own people? So that's the kind of things that keep me up at night trying to figure out. But I think that's a wonderful question. And I might just do a little commercial break for In the Occupation. But that's this wonderful, is it a postcard that they have about, they break down the amount of state money, how much money they would give. And they ask, what would you do with this money if it came to your state? So I think that's a wonderful question.
And actually, Barbara, the national stats just came out yesterday, and Washington, D.C. is at 11.3%, is the #1 state in the United States of America where the people who live in the state have alcohol and drug problems. Actually, Washington, D.C. is #1 in the country, 11.3%, with substance abuse issues. And I just kind of piggyback off of Pastor Avery. But I think when it just comes to a general situation with the United States sending $3+ billion to Israel every year, the policy simply needs to be reevaluated. We evaluate and we reevaluate everything. And so this is something that simply needs to be reevaluated, and to look at the specifics and to say simply this: if we are doing in relation to sending money to whoever, Israel, whoever, and this money that we're sending to them is assisting them in being an oppressor, in being an abuser, in being one that practices injustice and inhumane acts, then the simplicity of it is that we, as America, who is the lead country, the lead nation in the nation, we need to reevaluate what we're doing, because we don't want to be co-conspirator to nothing associated with what we, this African heritage delegate, have seen that's going on in Israel. So it simply needs to be reevaluated. No, but we actually passed by the largest prison in Israel. We saw the prison, but there was no entrance to the prison or nothing of that nature. It's off limits. You know, I saw the prison. We saw the prison from the street, you know, from the highway, and it looks like a real prison. I can tell you that. It looks like an extra prison. Yeah, it looked like they did an extra job.
Let me also say that one of the things that we did see happen is that increasingly young Palestinian boys are being criminalized at very early ages. 10, 11 years old, they're having interactions with the Israeli police. They're being detained, they're being thrown into prison. So therefore, you know, they're breeding this culture of young Palestinians who will come out with a criminal record, make things very difficult. But, you know, it's a very innocent kind of interaction that becomes a very violent one. And so that's something that I think we're all worried about and concerned. We see that here in America with the criminalizations of African American and Latinos. So we're very sensitive to that, and we want to, you know, ask for some special attention to that.
Almost everyone we met, all the Palestinians we met, the men, had all been in prison. And many of them said initially they were given a sentence of 6 months. On the last day of the 6 month, when they thought they were getting out, their term was renewed. And it was renewed and renewed and renewed until they ended up spending 17 years in prison. And of the Israeli prisoners, we found that over 50% of the Israeli prisoners are Mizrahi Jews. So it's very interesting.
And I just want to add that the men who are the primary targets that go to prison, that they detain in the physical prison, their wives are also in prison. It's a psychological prison. So everybody's in prison, because when the husband go to prison, the wife is in prison. The wife is in a psychological prison. When the individual in the family goes to prison, he is internally in prison. The family is externally in prison because of the effect that it has. And we know that, looking at the Palestinian scenario, if a husband who is the breadwinner goes to prison, then the wife has 5, 6, 7 children. Then it's natural that the family is in a psychological prison, knowing that the husband or the breadwinner is in a physical prison. So it's bondage, you know, all the way around.
To a person or group, they were pleased to see the African American delegation.
Yes.
To a person or a group, they were interested in our perspectives. What did you do? How did you do? Many of them, both from the Israeli and of course the Palestinian side, had studied the South African apartheid movement. They knew it almost as well, or if not better than we knew it. So they were able to make important connections and parallels. They listened to our story. They knew, we almost didn't have to finish our sentences sometimes, because they knew we knew what they were thinking, feeling, and getting ready to say. And I think it's just a testament to an oppressed people that recognizes oppression can there be for another group who is currently being oppressed and offer some solace. And as my preacher, Happy Mike Saeed would say, to be in a space of giving them encouragement, to stand tall, stand proud, stand in your might, that was very important for them to hear. So again, you know, on behalf of my delegation, and there are, 10 of our delegation's members who are not here with us. We do want to thank the Interfaith Peace Builders, the Mission Group, for all your fine work, the Board of Directors for making the important visionary decision to create this delegation, the inaugural delegation. You're going to hear a lot from us. We have a big agenda, and Lord knows, you guys at Interfaith Peace Builders, y'all know how to hold people accountable. Good God Almighty. So we look forward to working with you. We hope, Medea, that we can do some things with Code Pink. We're looking forward to creating some new alliances and new partnerships. And we appreciate your feedback. We pray that you would help us stay strong. As we speak out, we know that we will need some political cover. We know that we will need some moral support. And so we will look to you to help provide that for us. Again, thank you.